Musa,
Lalos, Gerald.
I'm Brianna.
I'm Marissa. Mara Francois.
And I'm Kenji.
Plot twist. Well, okay, I'm gonna start off. I'm so sorry. I'm a criminal justice major, and the age of consent is 17. So by law, it is rape. But like, if we're getting like to the nitty gritty or like the technical, like if we're being technical, it's not.
Yeah. Because she didn't say no.
I agree with that.
Even though she's intoxicated.
But she also didn't say yes either.
Yeah, because consent has to be like given. Clear, verbal, concise.
Yeah.
But she was intoxicated.
Was the guy intoxicated?
That too.
It doesn't say anything specific.
It didn't say about him.
Well, there's a big difference between intoxication and incapacitation. So when you say intoxicated, there's
She could be a little
huge
lit.
difference.
Yeah, I just think through these type of questions, they make it vague about the guy's mental standpoint because we don't know if he was also capable of regretting the decision or not. So I'm saying if I'm also drunk and I make a move and I'm thinking to myself, this is going good, and you're also drunk and you're saying this is going good, and only the one person regrets it and the other person doesn't, and then you say it's rape, are you saying that I was also like capable of making every decision just like you were?
It's both people in the situation.
But then again, I feel like it didn't necessarily said he was intoxicated, but I feel like as men, like if you know like a woman is intoxicated, she's not in like the right state of mind. Like, you know, she's
But it's
just
the same
chatting.
thing if it's a man.
Yeah, it's vice versa.
No, I'm not saying it's not vice versa. I'm just saying like.
But isn't that where age comes into role? Because I mean, he's 19, right? She's 16. He should know better.
I mean,
Age of consent is 17.
so 3 years older means I should know, but I'm just asking.
No, it does not. It doesn't mean that necessarily.
But one would only assume that he would know better because.
Okay,
he's
so
older.
you don't think he knows any better?
I would only assume anybody knows better based on their education.
Yeah, like if they're knowledgeable of what's going on.
So what is worthy of an education?
Yo, you serious?
Well,
Let's
from
talk
the
about-
context of what the paper says, how does cuddling lead to making another move?
How does cuddling lead?
Because it's not like she was, like
forced
they
to
were
be in a
kissing
position.
or they were touching each other. It was just cuddling. So for him to make that move, like.
But then again, she didn't say no, so like.
But she was
if
also
I'm
intoxicated.
By law, it's rape.
Wait, but it says she says she wants to have sex.
Yeah.
And that's where.
by
And
law.
that's where.
Gerald, what is this for?
I just thought we would read it out loud better. That's all.
I think, yeah.
It doesn't matter
Okay.
who thinks what. At the end of the day, by law,
By
it's
law,
wrong.
it's rape.
Yeah,
If
by law,
she
it's
says
rape.
that she wants to
I
have
agree.
sex, then it's.
If you want to talk
But we
about,
were saying she didn't say whether or not she wanted to have sex, but
Yeah.
she did.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you said she woke up the next day and regretted it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that she was raped. By law, it's rape because she's 16.
Yes.
So off the rip, it's rape regardless.
Right.
By law.
But
Right.
by law in New York State,
if you want to be like, if you're talking in terms of consent and giving consent, she gave him
Yeah.
consent. She regretted it the next
So I don't.
day.
but let's just be careful. We look at context too, because let's say right now the state of Hawaii, the age
Really,
of consent
nigga?
is 14. How many of you knew that?
Are we in
How do
Hawaii?
you know that?
That's not what I'm asking you though.
I was actually.
I'm asking you a question. Yes or no?
14.
Okay,
Right.
14.
All right,
That's
and-
Hawaii. In New York
that's-
State,
but I'm
it's
just-
17, Poppy.
My point was look at the context of just where you are
Don't
in
look
general.
at it in
Because
specifics
that
of
doesn't
rape.
say that they're in New York either. So
You're right,
I'm
but
just
I guess
saying.
like since we're living here, we're thinking about New York. Like I'm not gonna know what's going on in Cali because. I'm
But
from
you're a criminal
Cali.
justice major. You should know the laws and everything.
Absolutely, you're right.
There you go. So-
Wait, repeat that.
Can you be pro-black and in an interracial relationship?
I don't think so because
Absolutely, absolutely.
Isn't that Jordan Peele? Jordan
Pro-black
Peele is-
doesn't mean
that is.
anti-white.
okay.
Interracial, but interracial. If you're not in an interracial relationship, that don't mean you're anti-white. Like if you're not in an interracial relationship,
Pro-black.
that doesn't make me anti-white.
It doesn't make me.
I don't date white
So
girls.
why can I date? So why can I
Jordan
date a white
Peele
girl?
would be a
or
good
a white
example
guy?
of that.
You could.
Like he's pro-black, but he's
So basically,
also-
could Malcolm X be seen with a white wife?
Why
and still be
not?
about his
Fuck
mission?
no.
I mean, he was an
Okay, but then
extremist.
again,
That
it
was
talks
different.
about like,
That was
but then
different.
again, it goes about like your principles and how you go about things. You feel me? Like Malcolm X compared to like Jordan Peele. Okay, maybe different spectrums.
Would Jordan Peele call himself pro-black?
Why not? He is pro-black.
Malcolm X is pro-black.
Okay, well, why can
Just-
why can't they date a white woman or a white man?
I mean, we're talking about, I guess like what you said, it goes back to their values and their principles as well. Like,
People try to make it very ambiguous compared to when it first became an actual movement. So, like, we all agreed that if Malcolm X was posted up with his white wife at a podium doing a speech, people would be
It'd be
like,
flipped.
what are you talking about?
It'd be flipped.
Okay,
Yeah.
why?
look at it
From
with-
what I've
he's
been
right.
taught, what pro-black is like, for me, is like everything is black. Like everything has to go for black. So how do you gonna have a white wife if you going everything for black? It's pro-black. That's what I've been taught. That's what I've
I
been
don't think
taught.
everything has to
To
be
be
black,
pro-
but I
right.
think based off of the way that people are gonna look at you, they're gonna invalidate what you're saying if they see you with a white wife or
Yeah,
a white man
like-
or whatever.
But-
Whether or not you're pro-black or
Let
not.
me give it a rack. You lose points
They're
for me.
gonna-
So does
they're
it
gonna
so
lose points.
Yeah,
so
unfortunately.
so does it make me less black because I will date a black or
Not
white, a
less
white
black.
man?
Let's
Not
make
less
you,
black.
let's make you
Not
less
less
black.
black.
It makes you
So
less
wait.
pro-black in
How
the same.
but pro-black, but
So
that, I
what's
feel
your
like
definition of
what's your
pro-black?
definition of pro-black?
Okay, I guess it goes to like, it's about everything pretty much from like educational standpoint to a marital standpoint to financial standpoint, pretty much anything that is the roundabout for our everyday living and lifestyle and practice.
It goes black.
Yes.
Can I say my pro-black? What definition
Go
is for
ahead.
me? For me, it's literally like you support black-owned businesses, for example.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's
you
talking about.
you know, support little black kids in the hood running around, you know, doing whatever. You know, you look out for black people. So me as a black man, if I'm preaching all of this pro-black, support black-owned businesses, support
go
black
get a white
women,
wife.
support black men, help our people, and then I'll go and date a white woman, I feel like I'm gonna lose credibility just off the rip.
But it's
So-
like you
you're
could be
going for everything.
educated, but I
Are
feel,
these two, what's the word I'm looking for, mutually exclusive or like relevant to each other?
What's
like,
mutually exclusive?
like you advocating for your community and going for your community, but also like your dating life. Like, is that
That's
the same?
I think that
Unfortunately.
I
Yeah.
it's in some essence it is in a sense exclusive, but there's some sense of intersection within it. So I'll say this. Let's say we believe that we need more representation in our school systems, right? Like more black teachers. Why? Because we would like to see more black faces behind the education because it shows that we can do those type of things. Now that's like 8 hours of your day in school, and now you get to enjoy your learning experience from somebody who looks like you. Now you go back home for the next 16 or 8 hours. Now you get to come back home and you see your mom and dad who are both black. So you not only do you get to see the representation within the school system, but you see that within the home because you see that it's a matter of support from all ends, no matter what. You get to see what it looks like from all standpoints that you can feel embodied and powerful. You don't see no lack of self-doubt or self-knowledge within yourself.
Like, so saying that we're okay, like black people are okay.
I just bust a noodle.
what does the color of somebody's skin have to do with who I love? Like I could help the community.
I mean,
could,
but then again,
We're
you have to
talking
take
about
social
black.
I'm not
perspective
done.
into
I
account.
wasn't done.
I mean, it's like
Sorry.
that. Apologies.
I wasn't
Keep
done.
going.
I wasn't done. But I feel like you could do all of this thing. You could support black businesses. You could do a lot of things with the black community. You know what I'm saying? But it's like who I love does not mean like it doesn't define me. I could love a white man. I could love a white woman. But it's like, what does that have to do with me not being pro-black? Like once again, pro-black does not mean you have to be anti-white or like anti-Asian or like whatever. It's like you have pride in your identity, your sense, your community. But that doesn't mean you gotta belittle other people's cultures or like.
But that's
Hold on.
that's a myth though.
Yeah, because you're not belittling by me saying I'm not dating a white woman. I've never dated a white girl. I never will date a white girl.
Okay.
That's me. You feel me?
That's his
But, like,
preference.
yeah,
It's just his
it's
preference.
but not only that, it's like okay, for example, most white people date white people. Most Asians date Asians. Like it's just what it is.
Just dating your
You build with people you're most comfortable with. You feel me? People that understand you. Naturally, that's who you like attract yourself to. You feel me? So for me, I grew up around black women. My mom's a black woman. Grandma's a black woman. Aunties, all that, nothing but black women. So naturally, I'm attracted to black women. I've seen strong black women growing up. Now I'm not saying it's not strong white women out there, nothing like that. There definitely is. But for me, because of my personal life experiences, things that I've been through, I can't things that I've seen. I don't feel comfortable even speaking with a white woman about how I feel about day-to-day life So for me to fall in love with a white woman, it just almost seems like it's impossible. I'm not against it. I'm not belittling a white woman or anybody any other race, but I don't want to share my intimacy like long term with somebody that's not black or a person of color, because I feel like they wouldn't understand a lot of things that I feel and what I have to say.
And then oftentimes you start go ahead.
Now, I agree with him, like, because I never dated a white girl and it would never happen.
Why?
Now, I don't have nothing against them. It's just like, oh, it
It's
never
just
happened.
not your
Like, it's just
preference.
not something I would do. And then, like, not even that, like, we all seen that show, like, if you guys seen, Dear White People on on Netflix.
You
like,
look like
when,
somebody from there. I'm not gonna lie.
when, like, she got caught
That's
that she was
the
dating, like, that white guy, like, people would start discrediting her. Like, nobody was listening to her show, and then people were not, like, she was that pro-black girl,
Yeah,
and, like, nobody,
that's
people were looking at her, like, what you doing?
She was
now?
like they're the enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
And
now.
then you're sleeping with the enemy.
Yeah,
you can't sleep white and then wake up black.
But why should we have that mindset? Like,
Because
all white
it's-
people are the enemy.
But
No, no,
his,
no.
I'm not
you know,
saying like,
you know,
like, cause y'all's making it seem like
No.
I will never date a white person because they're our enemy, and then
no.
No, I mean,
I'm not saying that. but-
stability, financially wise, like
if you regard it to the question, how can you be pro-black and then after
And then-
have like a social perspective where everyone is looking at you as an icon where you represent the black people, but then
And then you
after
turn
you
around
date
and go
someone
Because
white
love don't have no
For
color.
you all.
yeah.
So the question I have is, can a mixed child be pro-black?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's,
yeah.
I think,
So how come a mixed child can be
I'll be honest.
pro-black?
I mean, not logic,
that
not
is-
logic black.
It's
but
it's
he can
very
be black.
it's very contextual.
like a lot of people tell me I can't even say like nigga and stuff because I'm light skinned. It's like I get what you're saying.
But going back to when you were talking about the two parent households who are both black, like if a mixed child wants to be pro-black and they have one white parent and one black parent, are you taking that away from them, saying like because you don't have the two black parent household, like
You know,
It strips your blackness.
right? You know what it is in that context. That's a question I always have to fight with. And one thing I always look at is Malcolm X's mother was a what they call a mulatto back then, right? But you know, everybody did not see her as like the white woman that was her like half a representation. They saw her as, you know, that black woman right across the street. And oftentimes she was threatened and all kinds of nonsense. So I think it's contextual to like where you are and like your like how your treatment is in life. And it sounds kind of vague, but that's just how I look at it. And also like how you react to certain situations, because you have some who kind of I don't want to say weaponize, but they kind of utilize the situation where, you know, if you're like you show how you have like a lot of white phenotypes or like features, you know, it's a lot easier to maneuver around certain systems in certain places, and then you know you double back and you try to capitalize on like your blackness as well, and then it just comes like it's like a double life almost, and then you don't necessarily know whether or not that person is like very serious about the movement for black people while they might be doing stuff behind closed doors with white people.
So I have a question. So are you basically saying like we could pick and choose when we want to like accept white people in our community? Because it's like, hold on, because like you know how like some people be like, oh, you're white, you don't see your privilege. But when there are white people that use their privilege, it's like you don't point out the fact that they're white. But since they're helping our community, it's like, you know, like I'm not saying like we accept them, but it's like they're fighting for a cause, they're fighting for us. So it's like they're not like, y'all know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like if they use their privilege to help us, to accommodate for us, it's like okay, but like how come we pick and choose when like what type of whiteness or like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna answer your question. Like, I seen something on, like, I mean, this was a negative post I was about it. Like, I seen something on Instagram. Like, I seen that woman, like, that, like, she was white and then she just got, like, a surgery and, like, she just, I don't know what the hell she
Oh,
she
she basically just made herself a whole black woman.
yeah.
No.
Bro, the other way around.
Yo, bro. Jackson had a bit of lipo. What's coming on?
He made sure.
Gerald was
He put his head on the camera too, so they can really get a close up.
Right.
So now, like,
Pro-blackness.
I'm sorry.
nah, because they were interviewing her. They were like, why she did that and everything. Like, she just, like, was having, like, these, like she just sound like Like she didn't know what she was talking about, and she was like, "Oh, I just want to go back and see my ancestors since we all from Africa." But like she was just wilding out, like she was just wilding.
Can I pose another question? Another question is, so your definition of pro-black was supporting black communities and supporting black businesses. Can a white person be pro-black? So let's say like they want to give all their money to black businesses, they want to support black communities. Is that possible?
A white person can be pro-black if they're being genuine.
True.
Not
I mean,
for show.
I don't.
But I can't be pro-black and ain't a white
So,
person.
Who is the judge
I
of
see
the
the correlation.
genuineness, if that's a word?
I mean,
of
it would be
a
the
person?
the dominant group that makes up that whole spectrum. So in this sense, we have more control or say about who comes into our community and do what we say. The same way where right now we want to make sure that we're not allowing any type of disrespect in our households. For example, like our community is essentially our home. So if you have somebody, we just said put on silent. Anyway, so like you remember the situation where the Chinese business owners were like disrespecting old black women at the hair stores? Like that was like a whole thing for like a whole summer, right?
The nail salon.
Right, the nail salons, the hair stores, and everything else, the whole nine. So, who has more control about who supports that business? Us, right? Because they have all of the products that we need for our hair. They have like the resources that we want. So, by not supporting them or like turning them away and maybe promoting a different business that reflects our background,
Or maybe create our own.
that's just, so create our own. In turn, we're denying a group that is suppressing us or abusing us in that nature, and then we're empowering ourselves. So we have the control and say about who we invite not only into our bodies, but into our communities, into our homes, and so forth. The same way they have been having control for the whole 400 years, right?
Still now too.
Wait, I'm not saying, okay, so I know like this is the main reason a lot of people think like this, because they're like, oh, like we've been through 400 years of slavery, mass incarceration, Jim Crow. Yes, understand that. I'm not saying look past it or anything, but I feel like as like we have to be educated about it. We have to understand that. But I feel like we can't be going out every day like, I hate white people or white people oppress me or like, yeah, okay, but it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we need to move on because it's like
Not move on.
I know what you mean, but I feel like
But we
if
can't
we
keep the
were
victim
to,
mentality.
And then it's
Yeah, 'cause it's
those
more
white people that
close-minded.
we encounter with were not slave masters. I'm not, you know
I
what I'm
don't think
saying?
nobody's
But the thing
doing
is,
that.
the thing is, as a black man and even as a black woman, I will believe, when you go out into the world, you gotta protect yourself. Period. No matter where you go, you know. I'm in Plattsburgh. Like we in Plattsburgh right now. If I'm not on camp, I'm on guard off the rip because I'm a black man in Plattsburgh. You feel me? So I'm not looking at it like, oh, you know, these people are slave masters and I hate all these white people. No, I don't care about none of that shit, to be honest. What I care about is I'm here in Plattsburgh. I know a lot of people in Plattsburgh don't like people like me, period, at the end of the day. So now with that being said, I'm going to be on my defense always when I'm out and about because I'm going to protect myself. Just like when you in the hood, when you in the neighborhood, you walk around like people trying to get at me. Same thing. I'm out in Plattsburgh. It ain't the hood. It's a different kind of fight you fighting. So it's not, oh, all these oppressors are out here. No,
Yeah,
I got white mentors. I got white people that I like. You feel me? Like,
But even then, you still gotta like,
Yeah, you
make
still
sure
gotta
you're
be
keeping
cautious.
your boundaries in
Yeah.
that same essence. And
Yeah.
I don't, you know what it is? I think
You
people
gotta keep
get
your
pro.
boundaries in any situation.
Yeah,
Even
but
with a black
but we're
person.
talking about
Black
a group of
is
people
dangerous.
who've done a lot to us in the most passive and most assertive ways as well. Like people lose their jobs in the most passive ways. You got laws that are intact that we're saying we can't come in. She can't come in with that type of hair right now at a certain jobs because they would say, oh, like we need
It's
to redo it.
unprofessional.
It's unprofessional, right? Like that's not the most passive aggressive way of just saying, you know, we don't say black people. I don't know what is.
But
And I
black
think
people don't only have dreads.
that's not.
No,
that's
I'm
not, nobody's
saying like
that,
it's an
yo.
example,
No,
bro.
because Gerald is so pro-black. Like,
No,
he's
Right.
so pro-black. Like,
Alright, you know, last thing I want to say is this, right? People get this confusion where we say pro-black is anti-white, and then like in the same like that's like saying it in a bad breath. But the truth is, pro-black technically is anti-white, and that's not saying anti-white in the sense that we're trying to exterminate the whole world. You had slave masters who owned like 60 slaves to like their 3 family members. We could have easily took them on, right? And the same way now where we make up a lot of we're like big numbers to certain demographics, but nobody's saying that we're gonna just take over the world. We're saying we want to
empower ourselves, and
Bring
leave us
ourselves
alone.
up.
That's just it. Like, why you think people like Martin Luther was a threat? Because he started saying the same thing Malcolm was saying. He was saying we need to capitalize on our own money. He wrote a whole speech saying like we're entering a burning home. Like, the fact that he decided that integration was such a bad idea already speaks for itself. But you don't hear no white person say that. That's what his last mentality was before he died. But they go back to when he was on that type of time before. They don't like the new Martin Luther King that was his mentality. And you see them use that example all the time in all those Yoakum 200 speeches. Like, Martin Luther wouldn't want this. He wouldn't want that. You're right. But he would also want us to be more for ourselves more than anything. And not in that same breath, that is definitely anti-white, but it's not saying we're gonna kill them. Pro-white or anti-black was we're gonna empower ourselves and we're gonna make sure that you step in this circle, you're dead. And that's historically been proven.
So is pro-white anti-black?
Of
Oh, yeah,
course.
yeah.
It is, but like it's not an
Yeah.
extreme thing where like say like
Because people could never see
you
like
know,
both sides.
in school all white people. It's not like that, but like it's like
Because like how often are we making defining the culture right now? You don't see us like saying go away. Like, you see white people in the parties turn out to black music, and like that's just like a small understanding of that. We don't turn them away. We just tell them like within certain boundaries. And
You
respect,
gotta limit,
you
like,
got-
just like how they limited us from what we could do, we're trying to limit from, because they be ODing. So we try to limit them from what they be doing. So,
But are
we're
we?
accepting
No,
them in at the,
I'm not saying
at the same
tomorrow don't
time.
make it right necessarily, but it's making it even. And if either way, are we going out our way and like going out our way and harming them physically?
no.
Most likely not. But have they gone out their way to harm us
haven't.
physically? Okay, but
Or historically, most black people haven't.
No,
in
yeah,
America, historically,
I think
most
what
black people
I
haven't.
think what Jared was basically trying to say is that we have to level the playing field, and until we
Yeah.
do that, we can't concern ourselves with people outside of our own group, and that's
I
not
understand
wrong to
that.
want to
That's
level
a
the
fact.
playing field.
That's what Martin
You know what
Luther
I'm saying?
wanted us to do, to level the playground
I
so we could
agree
be on
with
the
that, but I
same.
just still feel like I still like don't agree with the like the whole pro-black and then like having a like a white partner makes you like less of a black person or like
Oh, no, but
it's
we
like
didn't say that,
no,
though.
I'm not saying that, but it's like you said, like, oh, how you preach all like how you like you don't preach, basically y'all saying you don't preach what you practice.
exactly.
Yeah,
a
that's
fact.
what it is.
We
That's basically what it
we
is.
all just
I
agreed just
don't
now that if we saw Malcolm X on a speech on a podium with a white wife saying you need to love all black women and protect them by all means necessary, we will all say like,
What?
you're not.
What are you doing? I'm like, what are you doing?
If we really want to
I
get
s-
into it,
Bro,
I said
that's not what we're
Malcolm X.
talking
okay,
about right now.
but he was an abuser. He was an abuser. He was a serial cheater. So we're not gonna sit here and
I
act like
just
he was.
said Malcolm.
He was too.
Yes,
Nah. He
No.
never-
Yes.
he
Oh
didn't
my
cheat.
god.
What is a toxic parenting style that
Oh,
I
can
I
I
have
start
one.
this
Okay, I'm gonna start.
Alright.
Something I'm gonna leave with my parents is comparing my child to another child. I hated that growing up. My mom used to compare me to other kids, like, oh, I'm gonna use a name. Susie Q wouldn't do that, so why are you doing that? And I hated it, so I'm leaving that with her.
First of all, Susie Q is worse than me.
Oh, I'm leaving the you don't have stress in your life because all you need to do is worry about school.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a very good one.
The communication thing where I can't tell you about stuff. I'm leaving that way.
Oh yeah, I will have to add that on to what Kenji said. Like, I know, like, okay, so like growing up, like I had like the absence of my father, but it was like I had my mother, yeah, and I had like other people in my life. But it's like when it's like a toxic mother and like an absent father, is like I feel like I might as well just not have anybody, because it's like if that's the case, like how does it feel to like have somebody in your life and then it's like they're being toxic? It's like I don't really need that. So I feel like I would want my kids to come to me and talk to me about anything, like whether it's about sex, relationships, school, like anything, like bullying. Like I never could go to my mom, or I could never go to like people growing up to talk to them about how I
Not until I
felt.
was older.
Yeah, until I
not
was
until
like
now.
16. Like
But that's
Like, it's too
also
late now
because
with
they
the night
have a very traditional, like my parents, well, I'm half Jamaican, half Guyanese, and my mom, I'm mostly with my mom, and like she has a very traditional mindset of how to raise a child because of that. That's what her mom taught her, or that's how her mom, my grandmother, raised her. So breaking that, the
Yeah, that's
traditional
smart.
sense of parenting, definitely.
I got one thing I'll probably would say. I'm in terms of like breaking traditional parenting styles, one thing I would do that both of my parents did that I really used to hate was like, well, what I'm not gonna do with my kids is downplay, if I ever have children and and I'm not with their mother, downplay their mother to them because I don't like their mother. You feel me? And vice versa, I would hope that, the person, does the same for me, because for children, that can make, kids get real mad and angry and have mixed emotions growing up about their parents. So I would definitely leave that behind. Yeah, I would leave that behind.
I have a couple of mine. I guess one I'll say right now is I'll leave like limiting their freedom of expression in certain ways. So like I know like there were times when I wanted to buy certain shoes, or my dad would try to dress me a certain way, and I didn't mind because like your dad wants to dress like he wants his son to dress like him. But there was often times where like I hated Air Force Ones because he would say like, oh, you can't increase them all the time. So it's like I feel like I have to walk around outside. I'm a young boy with mad energy. I want to play basketball. I want to do all types of stuff, but I gotta worry about keeping up like walking like this with like not creasing my shoe because I don't want to like disappoint him or make him upset. And if I do mess him up, either he's like verbally attacking me or whatever the case is, because like I wasted his money. But the truth is, you could have bought me like some $50 Nikes that was like running sneakers, and I could have just went crazy, and I'd have been just fine. And if anything, you could have bought me 2 pairs for the same amount of money with the same shoes that you got me. So it's like,
Yeah, that's why when I have a child, I'm not no name brand.
yeah,
A little Batman.
like you got little kids who be want like you got.
No, you ever seen it when it was like your kids got on
They do
like,
not want Balenciaga
Nikes and
runners.
Jordans?
Yeah.
When the kids in his class have Batman light up shoes, and he's pressed.
My class don't do
It's
that.
crazy because I'm gonna be that parent that does both.
Like you want that? Okay, but I want you to wear this.
Yeah, like you could do all that, but
Match mom.
that's not.
Nah, yeah, like
that's
on a
not
dressy
cool at
day,
all.
you could get some drip, but nah, you running around when you in school.
No,
now
not all the
Batman.
time.
Getting that light up shoes.
Skechers.
Yeah, like,
I don't know if this would be toxic, but I definitely don't want to be a parent that's way too strict with their child.
Yeah. The more strict you with a kid, the more
Yeah.
sneaky they are.
I feel like
bro, my
strict
dad
parents
always
create sneaky
pushed me to
kids.
cut my
I was
hair.
very sneaky.
I was sneaky. No, don't lie. Like growing up, like my mother is like a Caribbean. Like I grew up in a Caribbean household. Like for girls and boys, it's totally different. Like girls gotta be home at like 6, 8 o'clock. Guys can roam the street. But like your mom would be like, oh, like you're a girl, you can't be out in the street, or like you can't do certain stuff. And I feel like that restriction made me curious. Like, oh, what if I do this? What would happen? Like,
Yeah, that's why I did whatever I
I was
wanted.
very
That's the
strict.
same thing in an African household too.
I'd be like, yeah, I'm at track practice. Meanwhile, I'm all the way in Dykeman.
Yeah.
I live in Brooklyn.
No,
So
really though.
Dykeman from you're.
I used to, I've been going to school. This may sound mad bougie, but it's not. I've been going to school in Manhattan since I was 2. So
I could feel that.
So
I never went to school in my own neighborhood. I was
Yeah.
always out and about.
I feel like it's more male orientated, but like, did your dads ever force you to cut your hair when you were a kid? They were
Nah,
always,
Force
I mean,
you to cut
I
your
think
hair?
it's more of an African
I was-
father thing.
I was-
Like he would always he would always force me to get the same haircut as him, and it would be like, he would get like what, a 1?
Yeah, you get like a one.
Let my shit grow, bro.
My shit, bro.
It would be a baldy.
Huh?
It would be.
It was so
Basically a
good.
ball.
It was
wait, what's a
like you
one?
try to put your hoodie
like
on,
like a really light haircut, basically.
Yeah.
A
You
very,
see,
like a
my
military
father-
cut almost.
I
Military
know
haircut.
nothing about boys.
Like a
dark
light
season.
Like a light
No, it's a
Caesar
light
cut.
season. Very
A
light.
light, very light.
I like season 1, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Nah, mine was like.
Because you all like one. I don't know. I don't memorize the chart. I don't go to the
Oh,
barbershop.
it's like
It's not a chart.
Oh yeah.
It's
That's
really-
like-
It
that's
I just feel
definitely
like
is
once
a
you say
chart.
one, you automatically know what one
1
is.
through
Like,
10.
Right?
Yeah.
You see the size when it fades, right?
Oh yeah.
Just
So a
imagine
very
everywhere.
light.
Just imagine everywhere, basically.
All right, so back to the
fucked up.
question.
Oh yeah.
Now,
One thing that I would definitely want to change is not like singling out specific children. So let's say you have like 3 children. Let's say one of them is chubbier than the other 2. Don't single that one out to make it seem like there's something wrong with that one being a little chubbier than the other. Like make it a mindset that they all should be healthier, that they should all want to exercise, stuff like that. Because then that child grows up thinking that like she or he is less than the other 2 children, or that she or he has something wrong with her compared to the other 2
Not
Mm-hmm.
even
children.
like,
So
not even like food-wise, but also
not even food-wise,
school-
anything.
School-wise.
School-wise,
Yeah.
like,
If
for
you're not
example, my
smarter,
brother
yeah.
would always get the best grades,
hmm
and my dad would he's the golden child and always loves
Yeah,
him.
right.
He
I'm
gets
gonna be on
everything.
my-
They'll just down talk you, be like, oh,
Facts,
you
like
about
be
to-
more like imagine, bro.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you're the
yeah.
oldest brother, and he tells
like,
you to
he's
be
telling
more
you
like
the
an
same
old. Like yo, like
Yikes.
I guess and I know one that's very big in a lot of like low income families is like, my dad, he would be the type of person where when I graduated high school, I didn't go straight to school, but I was just working. Like, it became like, you know, you're 18 and, you know, you're a man now, so you gotta start paying bills and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, I like, it's one thing when you helping out the family, it's another thing when you,
Being forced to.
when you're being forced to do certain things,
Yeah.
like, you know, like, I would tell my dad, like, yo,
When I
I
started
don't have enough
working
money
out,
for this. And it's
My
like,
mom started buying like more shit in the house. Excuse me.
I feel like, yeah, I know what you mean, because it's like, because most jobs like in New York is like, you can work at 16, and like, I don't know, like, I think my first job was 17, and I remember I got my first job, I was really hype, I was dumb hype, and then my mom was like, oh, like, I need money for this.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah,
Stop
as
making it
soon as I
easy.
started,
Yeah.
I got a job. She started buying new stuff in the house and buying herself nice things. I'm like, excuse me,
it's
where you
like-
getting this money from? You're not giving it from me.
Stop
Yeah.
making children feel bad if they want to put their education first. If they don't want to necessarily go out and get a job, but they'd rather stick to books. You know, stop making it seem like
You gotta get a
you
job.
gotta
School
get a
ain't-
job. If
I feel
not,
like-
you know.
I feel like school life also,
School's
no
not for
offense,
every-
but like, I'm all about like my books. I'm all about like school, reading, writing, like getting an education. But then again, I feel like school ain't for everybody.
It's
And I feel
not.
like
It's
as
not.
a parent, I'm not about to be like, you have to go to college, bro. You have to go to college.
It's a
I
waste
feel
of
like
money.
the, you know, elementary, middle school, yes, of course. Because
Your
then they
basic
won't call
education.
ACS. But high school, I feel like,
school.
yes, high school. But after high school,
College.
you don't have to go to
College
college.
is really a choice. It's not for everybody. That's true.
It's
It's
really
really
not
not.
for everybody.
another trait you gonna buy?
Huh?
Or you're just mentioning another toxic trait.
Oh yeah, I don't know if this is toxic though, but I have a younger sister, and I feel like my mom made me. So I'm the first child, and I feel like I had to be the parent to my younger
Yeah.
sister,
Oh, yeah.
and I hated that. So I don't know if
Yes.
it would be
Like-
toxic, but I just
Define parent.
That is
like,
toxic.
Like,
Like,
what did
did
you
I
have to
give
do?
birth or-
like
But I had to watch
so
myself.
basically I had to watch my sister all the time. Like basically I was like the second mom to my sister because my mom was working and like doing what she had to do, which you know there's nothing wrong with that, but at the same time I felt like I had to grow up faster than I probably would have been growing
Was it
up. if I
only you,
wasn't-
your mom, and your sister?
Yeah, and my grandmother. My
Okay.
dad is not in my life.
Okay, so I guess you see the tricky thing with that, like how I was making my example about like the financially supported thing is like you're kind of forced in those situations where like it's not really in nobody's control, and just like some of our parents perhaps they had to grow up a lot faster as well. Like my dad, his dad died at 13 from cancer, so it was just him and his sister and my grandmother, his mom. So it's like a lot of stuff he had to do was just like, you know, we all young, we want to just like live our life and, you know, focus on certain things, but it gets to that point where, you know, you gotta really like pick up the pace a bit, and it's not really about your parents trying to be dismissive of your own person, but it's just like this is where we're at right now, and I need your help.
No, I understand that, and I had no issue with that. But however, like if it's the weekend and you're home, and I'm like, Mom, can I? First of all, I had to ask my mom in advance. That's
Yes,
how she was,
that's
if I could go
Like,
out.
like a day.
And then like
A
what she
day.
would do
Like
is
a
she
day or
would
two later.
she'd be like, okay, I'll let you know. She'll wait until 11 o'clock when I can't go out anymore because I'm not of age to go out at that time. And then I'd just be like, then she's like, yeah, she let me babysit my sister until 11 o'clock. Then she come home, then she'd be like, yeah, you can't go out. And then I'm just like, girl,
like you played me, yeah.
exactly,
yeah,
that's what I
feel
mean.
you.
Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, that's
I feel like I have another one.
I used to have
I was
to
in a-
wash dishes.
You could go, no, go
before I left.
first.
I know, like,
I'm the baby.
these two traits, like, I know that this happened mainly, like, I know, like, immigrant household and stuff like that. Like, they always, like, use religion for, like, some big reasons. Like, yeah, like,
Like,
I'm going to
don't do
stress.
that, 'cause
You're not
God
praying
would
enough.
never.
You're not praying enough. That's why you're
Yeah.
going to stress. I'm
Yes,
like,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's true.
And then another one is, like,
And forcing
Like-
me to go to church, you be like, yeah, you know.
I hate that. I hated
and
that.
then, like, choosing your major for you. Like,
Yeah, bro.
I was just about to say
choosing
that.
a major for you,
I
like,
was just
I feel like
about
that's
to
more.
say
I feel like a big African
Yeah,
dominant.
that's
No,
what
no,
I'm
no, no,
about
no.
to say.
No, no, it's
They-
Caribbean.
my
It's a
main-
Caribbean.
my
I feel
main-
I feel like it's a
Caribbean
like a Caribbean
Yeah.
thing too, because when I don't like when I was so I have like older siblings. I'm like I am the baby, and like my mom would be like, oh, you have to go to school and you have to be a nurse, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer. I mean, I do want to be a lawyer, but that's not because of her. But it's like, why I can't
There's no
study
autonomy.
English? Why I can't study arts? Why can't I study? I don't
That's one
know.
thing I thank my mom for, that she allowed me to pursue whatever I wanted
Yeah.
to pursue and
Yeah.
support me.
Nah.
Because then you're going to be miserable. You're going to be
That's
mad
right.
miserable in those
My
majors
dad
because
wanted
your
me to be
mother
a
wants you
doctor when I was
to.
little. I cut that from
Yeah, my own
I'm like,
mom
I'm
was
not
like,
taking care of you when you old. Like,
Nah, I don't know about that, but I mean,
This is drag
My
I
parents
know.
never said that. My parents never said that I couldn't be a specific major, but if I did choose a certain major that they weren't feeling, you
Yeah.
definitely felt the judgment. Whether or not they said it or not,
No, really
you
don't.
felt it.
But you know the thing is, I'm gonna keep it a rack with y'all. My mom is not like that. But I told my mom, my mom is not like that. But I told my mom was just happy I went to college.
Yeah.
So she
Yeah.
was just happy I went.
First generation.
I cut
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But my mom, I told my mom off rip. I said, Mom, all these loans I'm taking out is in my name. So I'm gonna study whatever the fuck. If I wanted to study the major that ain't make me $1 after I graduate, I'm gonna study it because that's what I want to study. That's what I spend my money on. You feel me? And my mom said, all right. You feel me? Like it's your money. That was it.
That's
like,
true. Cause when I told like I was business major, yeah, I was a business major because my mom was like, oh, like you need to be an accountant, a business owner, whatever. One, you don't need a degree in something to be something. Because there's tons of people that have businesses that don't have a business degree. And then second of all, when I told my mother, like, oh, I want to go into criminal justice, she had, like, this whole stigma, like, why do you want to be a cop? There's so many things you could do in, like, criminal justice. But that's just for me. But it's, like, they're so, like, narrow, like, closed-minded. They're so narrow. Like, why you want to be this?
There's no more positions.
Yeah,
within
like,
the
there's
realm
no
of what
more,
you
like-
Like, how you want me to be a lawyer, but I can't be a police
at the
officer?
same time, you kind of gotta put yourself in your parents'
Because they didn't
shoes.
really have
They
all those
want-
options when
They
was
want the best for you. Like, sure, like for example, my brother, he wants to become a boxer. My parents are like, hell no, we want you to become a doctor, right? Because at the end of the day, realistically, the ratio of people becoming boxers and becoming successful is small. That's why they want him to do what everyone else is doing. Have a
So you have
safe and
something-
secure job.
Yeah, I was about to say secure.
Yeah.
It's the same way.
And
now,
I mean,
like,
what we can't say anything because we don't have children. But at the end of the day, when we get children, we have that emotional
But it's like,
connection.
if you want to be supportive, you're going to support anything that I do.
And you also gotta look at the fact that they didn't have as much options that we have now.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is too is that
So they don't know.
if shit hits the fan, you know, who are we gonna fall back to most likely? Our
Them.
parents. So it's like we still gotta respect or have some type of value for their input in most cases, no matter what.
Absolutely, but if the input is negative, I feel like...
Yeah, the input is just drag the negative, and yeah, but I feel like if they're coming from a place of understanding and they, you know, they know what they're talking about, then you, like, your parents, most likely they know what they're talking about, so.
y'all don't want to
I
know
was
my
hurt.
answer. to
I don't
that.
want to know my answer either.
I guess I'll start.
Let's go!
So, for me, it was weird because I would speak into his music, or like you hear it in the background at certain times, but oftentimes I would see a lot of his like philanthropy work. Like he was creating a STEM program, so more people of color, more kids of color can get into it at Silicon Valley, which is predominantly like a white institution in a sense. So, and I started looking into other things like his store, what he did. Like in his last moment before he died, it was a dude who came out of jail who did 20 years, and he said, you know, like he didn't run away, but like he went to the store at his own free time and went to go get that guy clothes from his own clothing store. So like, just knowing that, like his final like act of kindness was something like giving somebody, you know, like clothes, just like something to put themselves like a big up on their back. And then he died. It was just like, and then it gets worse when you find out more and more of the stuff that he did. Mm-hmm. So it's like damn, like, oh, I didn't know he did this. And then people who didn't know him at all, like, be like, wow, like he did this. And then like the next day, you find out on the news, on like New York Times, like, oh, he did this and that too. Or he, like, you know, he has a black wife. Or he loves his kids. You know, kids that's not even his. Like, you just start, it gets a little more emotional, and it just like, it's not a bad emotion, but it gets to a point where it's like you don't know how much you can take about his good acts of kindness and what he did without trying to feel like, you know, like we really lost a really great person. So it was definitely a tough, even just for, and I can only imagine with somebody who like knew him, like people who lived like right next door to his store, like, so, or his mom, or his, you know, Lauren, London, like, if I didn't know him, I felt this way. I'm on the other side, on the East Coast. Like, I can only imagine how people who felt like just living right next door to him. So
It's crazy.
It was mad overwhelming.
How y'all
And,
feel?
Like, At first, I was like, nah, I'm gonna ignore this because it's like I already dealt with a whole bunch of deaths this year or whatever and shit. And so I'm like, I'm gonna settle down and not think about this. And then one day, I bursted out crying in my room by myself. It was very overwhelming. He was one of my favorite artists, and he the big low. So,
Man, I've been listening to him since like 10th grade in high school. Like, cause like his music really like you really like you be thinking like he's from the hood and like and stuff like that. Like, but like the message that he preaches is different. Like, it's really different. Like, not even like I didn't even know that he was African. Like, that's the thing. I didn't know
he's African.
He's African. He's on thin on wait,
Eritrean.
he's like I didn't know that, and he went to Africa, and like that kind of changed his whole perspective of like how he view like America and how he view like the world and everything. And I didn't even know like things that he used to preach about, like don't like invest in like chains and like invest in like stuff that are not necessary. Like do some real estate and stuff like that. Like
something
he really
to better
was,
yourself,
to
bring you up.
Like his message was just like it would just like uplift you. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like it was like that. Like his message is so empowering, like and crazy. Like and then seeing someone like that, like his last act of kindness, him is like led him to his death. Like it's crazy.
He did a lot for the black community.
And then you know what's also funny is that his parents come like used to. I started evaluating like his foundation as well. So like I found out his dad was like a huge activist as well.
Yeah.
Like there was like a how you pronounce it?
Eritrean.
Eritrean. There's like a Eritrean movement going on somewhere.
In New York.
In New York, yeah. His dad was a huge part of that as well. So, and that was like kind of a big thing for me because I just told me like he's not just doing this like out of nowhere. Like this was kind of embedded in him in a sense. So,
and for him to take it up and follow his father's footsteps and then make it bigger and
make a
better,
bigger impact. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's OD.
When I first heard about it, cause actually, like, I seen it on like Facebook, but you know how like some things be like clickbait, so I was like, okay. But then one of my board members text like the group chat and was like, "Yo, do you know like Nipsey died?" And I was like, I heard he got shot, but he died. Mm-hmm. But then like I didn't really know of him. Like I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I didn't really know of him. I didn't know the work he's done. I never heard his music. And then, like you said, like as time went by, days went by. You hear about all the great things he was doing, how Lauren London speaks so highly of him. Like, you know how much it takes for somebody to speak highly of you? And it's not like only one person, it's multiple people. I even seen on like social media, some guy that was doing construction around his store. I think he said Nipsey will always come out and like give them like waters when it was high. Or like give them food and be like, hey man, like this is my shop right here. If you ever want to check out some clothes, I got you with some free gear. Like, to know that, like, people in this time is out here doing that, and, like, him, like, and I don't even think he was a person that bragged about it. Like, he just did it because he was passionate about it, he was humble, he really meant it, it was genuine, but, like, saying, like, we lost a real one, like, really hurts me, the black community, and everybody, like, I should
That's why I think he's so significant because a lot of the stuff that he did do, we didn't know because he wasn't doing it to seek recognition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
you see a lot of these celebrities, got 100 cameras around them while they're, doing all these things. Like a lot of those things that he did, we didn't know until after he passed away because we took it upon ourselves to do the research.
So I'm gonna keep it a rack with you with that. Like when I found out he died, because the question was initially, my first response, the only thing I knew about Nipsey Hussle, I did not hear much of his music. I knew he was a rapper because I make music and stuff. I knew he was a rapper. I knew he was a big Crip. That's all I knew.
Right.
So when he got shot, I was like, okay, because where I'm from, if you Crip and if you gangbanging, you live by the gun, you're gonna die by the gun. So when he got shot,
he used it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I didn't know.
But that was his first impression.
That's
That was
my
his
initial
first
reaction.
impression.
So I'm like, okay, Nipsey shot. Somebody just got shot in my neighborhood last week. Okay, they died. Nipsey died. I was like, all right, you feel me? So then I go on the internet, I see a lot of people posting it, but I couldn't understand why. I was like, none of y'all ever listened to Nipsey while I was around y'all. So I'm like, okay, you feel me? Like, I'm like, okay. Well,
He's ready.
So I was like, okay, well, let me see. So as time go by, I start seeing shit on Instagram, Facebook, like mad stuff. I started seeing he doing mad stuff stories and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, well, I never heard about this before. But I never looked into it because I still, like, it's a sad thing that he died, and after hearing about all the stuff he done did, it's like, dang, He seemed like a cool, genuine dude, but at the same time, one thing I know, like, just from personal experiences and just growing up, how I grew up, if you come up a certain way, doing certain stuff, you can't run from your past. It will come to you. It will catch up with you. And it's a sad thing because he was doing a lot of great stuff. But when I seen it, I was like, if you live by the gun, you're going to die by the gun. And that's what it is.
Ain't show no mercy on her. We was going back to back. We put a curfew on her. It was dark clouds on us, but that was perfect for us. We know you always crash and burn, but it was working for us.
Rush, take your time up on me. I want you, I know you want me. Bend over slow and then grind up on me. Bend over slow. 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 Oh yeah. Bend over slow. Bend over slow. Bend over slow.